Welcome back into episode 3 of our MLB season outlook. If we had great divisions to do for the last two, we're now on to probably the saddest divisions in baseball, the Central divisions, starting with the American League Central. Our grand loser from last year's AL Central, we have the Kansas City Royals. They finished 2022 65 and 97. Their over under this season is set at 68 and a half. You look at losses and additions, not too much going on for a team that does not have too much going on, but they lost Adalberto Mondesi, Michael A. Taylor, and Ryan O'Hearn. Some of their additions include Jordan Lyles, Aroldis Chapman, and Ryan Yarbrough. I actually really like the starting pitching signings, Lyles and Yarbrough. Good flyers. Their rotation's not the weak point of this team. After those, they didn't really lose anyone of note, but there's also really no one on this team. So, I mean, they're pretty stagnant.
Yeah, this is just one of those teams that's kind of in one of those weird funks, kind of like the Nationals. They were bad last year and didn't do like anything to improve it, so they're probably gonna do about what they did last year. They're kind of just waiting to see if any of these prospects that they have pan out, but we will see.
Looking at the Royals' projected starting lineup, we have MJ Melendez, Bobby Witt Jr., Salvador Perez, Vinny Pasquantino, Edward Olivares, Kyle Isbell, Hunter Dozier, Michael Massey, and Nate Eaton. Um, their 1 through 4 is not the worst thing in the world, right? Melendez, big prospect. Witt, huge prospect. Salvador Perez, as we know, 2 years ago, came off an insane season. I mean, he's bound for even more aggression, and he just cannot play catcher. But other than that, and Pasquantino really surprised for the Royals last year. Beyond that, uh, no. Any thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean it's kind of gross that your leadoff hitter's batting 217 and MJ Melendez. He had some decent power last year. I think he could hit 20, 25 homers this year, so I'd probably move him down in the lineup if I was them. But as of right now, their projected 1, 2, 3 can all be 20, 25 homer guys with Witt and Perez as well. Like you said, Vinny Pasquantino absolutely came out of well, not nowhere, but he shined bright, almost a 300 hitter. And then I think another sleeper on this team is Edward Oliveira. Like he almost hit 300. Granted, it was a pretty small sample size, but he's young. He could definitely develop into something. But outside of that, this team is stinky.
Moving into their projected pitching staff, as I mentioned, I kind of like it. Goes Zach Greinke, Jordan Lyles, Brady Singer, Ryan Yarbrough, and Brad Keller. Brady Singer really broke out last season for the Royals. Um, I mean, is it a top rotation in baseball? No. Is it top 15 or 20? Yeah. So that's probably their highest thing out of any of bullpen starters and lineup. That's probably their highest one because the bullpen is not inspiring anything. I mean, they added Aroldis Chapman, who's been steadily declining over the past few years. I mean, who knows if he can even? I don't think he can. I don't think he can touch 100 anymore. So he's just serving up meatballs. I mean, as we've done with some of these teams before, this team is not built to win.
Yeah. This rotation's somehow their best part. You got a 39, almost 40-year-old Zach Greinke as your ace, who's kind of fading, as you saw last year with this team. He was all right. I mean, he's definitely not a one anymore, but on this rotation, he will be. I really like the Ryan Yarbrough signing. Really good a few years ago. Had a little down year, but I think he could bounce back. Brady Singer, I think, is the brightest point on this rotation. I do also like the Lyle signing, but it's not gonna be enough to help him win. Out of their bullpen, like you said, I think their biggest move in the bullpen obviously was Josh Taylor, who missed all of last year. I think he'll be fine, I guess. I don't know. When you miss a year of baseball, you're definitely bound for some regression, but who knows? Chapman, on the other hand, like you said, yeah, if he can't touch 100, he's donezo. And you said a steady decline. I would say it's pretty rapid. He fell off a cliff last year. But outside of that, their bullpen's looking at a bunch of 5 ERA guys probably. I'm my biggest fan in the bullpen is Scott Barlow and Dylan Coleman. I think they're both really solid. I expect them to do really well, but yeah, they're once the starters get out of the game after giving up 5, the bullpen's probably just gonna double that.
I'm looking at the projections right now, and they kind of like the Royals bullpen. I'm not seeing it, but maybe they'll surprise.
I don't
Who
know. Amir
knows?
Garrett's not getting any punch outs. The only thing he's punching is people. Like
I don't
besides
know
that,
how they have Amir Garrett's projected ERA at a steady 4.
that's
I was thinking more in like the 6-7 range,
it's
like
fair. Fair.
6-700. With all that said, 68.5. No, under. I don't know
Uh,
what part of this team is like truly built to go out and win a game. So Zach Greinke runs out there, right? He gives you 5 innings. Did you score any runs for him? Probably not. I like even when your pitching somehow only gives up 3 runs, you probably still lose 3-1.
yeah,
Under.
yeah.
Under they win 63 games.
You know, they won 65 games last year, and for some reason they have them doing better by 3 games, and I low-key like it. I don't think like if I were to bet, I'd probably stay away from this one, but I think I would low-key take the over only because they do have a lot of young guys, so hopefully we could see some nice development from them. Like MJ Melendez and Bobby Witt, I think are only going to go up. Salvador Perez, he's old, so he'll probably keep going down. But I don't know. It's time this lineup I have a little bit of faith in, and I don't know. I'm feeling a little spicy on the Royals over it. The whole division's pretty garbage, so I feel like they could sneak 3 more wins out, 4 more wins out to hit that over. So I guess yeah, I'm not saying I like it, but I'm gonna ride the over.
And we're on to our next team. The sadness does not stop with the Royals. We have the Detroit Tigers in 2022. They went 66 and 96. Good enough for fourth place. Their over-under is the same as the Royals, though, at 68.5. Looking at the offseason for the Detroit Tigers, not losing too much. A bunch of good relievers. Andrew Chafin, Greg Soto, Joe Jimenez. They lost Tucker Barnhart, Willie Cash. Like these are not guys that mean anything. But then again, the guys that they added don't really mean anything either. They added 2 rotation pieces in Matthew Boyd, who's back on the Tigers, their short stint in Seattle, and Michael Lorenzen. Other than that, no one really of note. I actually like the Boyd and Lorenzen signings. Bolster up a rotation that's once again definitely not the worst part of this team. The only gripe I have so far until we look in further is that even without looking, this team is old and we don't have a direction. And they honestly haven't had a direction in years. So I don't really know what we're doing.
Yeah, this team definitely doesn't have a direction. Like you said, they're old. They only have 2 guys in the top 100 prospects, and they're both low guys. Um, yeah, this team they had some losses, weren't big losses, but they really didn't bring much in. But like you said, Boyd and Lorenzen, I think will be fine. I really do think they need to keep Boyd in the pen because he got lit up like a Christmas tree as a starter with them a few years ago. So this team is going to struggle very hard.
And looking in at their projected starting lineup, it reads Austin Meadows, Javier Baez, Riley Green, Jonathan Scope, Terry Carpenter, Eric Haas, Nick Matone, Spencer Torkelson, and Akil Badu. Um, Eric Haas He's a serviceable catcher. They really so there's a few young guys on this lineup, right? Like Torkelson, Badu, Riley Green that need to get better this year. Everyone else, I'm gonna tell you right now, this team's going full fire sale mode at the deadline.
Yeah.
No one's gonna be on this team after midway through. Not one player. Uh it's up to see if someone wants to take on Javi Baez's contract. I know I don't, but I think yeah, his contract's disgusting.
Yeah, no, nobody wants that, especially with
Um, we'll see. I think this lineup completely changes. They still have Miguel Cabrera on the bench. It's amazing that he's still alive.
I mean, I think at this point he's just playing because he also got a huge deal back then. He's just trying to get that extra millions. I don't know. The only bright, semi-bright spot I see in this lineup is somehow sadly Javi Baez, and I don't even think it's bright. It's like a dim candle. Maybe if they eat a lot of his contract, somebody will trade for him. But I mean, granted, I mean he doesn't hit for average anymore. He has 17 homers, but that Comerica Park's not a hitter-friendly park as far as home runs go.
I was gonna say you have a weak offensive team playing 81 games in the probably the worst offensive geared ballpark in baseball.
Yeah.
Recipe for disaster.
And it's not like they have guys hitting for average. Not a single dude on this team hit above 255. Like you can't have that. Like they finished bottom five in every offensive category there was last year. 25th in average, 29th in on base, OPS.
And guess what?
What?
Gonna happen again.
Oh yeah, they were 30th in runs, home runs. And it's not even like they stole bases. They were 28th. They were garbage all around. Like this, they can't hit.
It's like they might as well not even try.
Like you said, nobody left is going to be on this lineup. I don't even know if people are going to try to trade from this team. They're all garbage.
And looking in at their starting rotation, like I said before, I don't really mind it. It's Eduardo Rodriguez, Matthew Boyd, Michael Lorenzen, Matt Manning, and Spencer Turnbull. Um, this rotation is still old. Don't know what we're going for. Big season for Matt Manning though. Um, he's like the only young bright spot possibly here. I mean, these guys aren't bad. Everyone I just listed is very serviceable as a pitcher. Just it doesn't make sense on this team because the rest of the team's not built to win around them.
Yeah. The starting pitching was bottom 10 in every category. Not the worst, not the best. Somehow, like we just pointed out, that it's not a hitter-friendly park. They were 27th in the league in homers per nine, which is pretty impressive. Yeah, the rotation's not the worst part of it. I really do think Boyd shouldn't be a starter. I think he should go to the pen, but when you have this little amount of talent, I guess you gotta work with it.
And we don't really need to spend too long on the bullpen. I will give the viewers, as a Yankees fan and a Mets fan, we've both seen Chase and Shreve pitch before. He's projected to make their starting bullpen. That's how you know this is a losing roster. He's just beyond terrible. Alex Lange is not the worst player in the world. Everyone past that and help.
Shout out my boy Jose Cisnero. He's all right. I think he's probably gonna be one of the few bright spots in that pen. Everybody else just gonna get
Yeah, but the thing, he's gone by midway. Gone.
yeah, he'll probably be gone 100%.
Gone. Lange probably gone. All
Hopefully
gone.
Reeves DFA'd like that.
Right, and they should be gone. Because what are you doing? We need some kind of prospects.
Yeah, they need
I,
something back. They
no
got
one's
nothing.
gonna sign here.
Yeah, nobody wants to play in Detroit except Javi Baez, but
Casey Mize had Tommy John surgery. He most likely won't play this season, even though he was very disappointing last season in only 2 starts, but still disappointing. Hopefully he comes back. The season before that, he was okay.
you got to hammer the under on this team. You have to. This is
Destroy it. Destroy it.
68. This team's bound to win 60 games at best. 62 at best. And that's highballing it.
I'm also going under.
Yeah, you can't take the over here. This is disgusting.
And now we're in on our next team, finishing third in the AL Central. We're the Minnesota Twins, who went 78-84, good enough for third. And this year, their over/under is set at 84.5 wins.
Oh,
A
it's right
lot
there.
of in and out on this team, looking at the additions and subtractions. This team lost the likes of Chris Archer, Miguel Sano. They lost Luis Arias, the average champion last year. They lost Gio Urshela, but that's not to say that they didn't add a bunch of players as well. They added, in the Luis Arias trade, Pablo Lopez, starting pitcher. They added guys like Kyle Farmer and also Joey Gallo and Christian Vasquez. Their biggest addition is not an addition. It's Carlos Correa, who somehow found his way back to the Twins, signed with at least two other teams, two teams that we know about verbally, and then he's right back on the team. Like, good for them, I guess.
Yeah, that's kind of just an awkward situation, I feel like now. Like, broke up with his girlfriend, went out, tried some few people, they didn't like him, came crawling back. I think their biggest move is bringing in Lopez. Yeah, they lost Arias, so like it's a little bit of a trade-off, but that rotation's pretty gross without him there. So I really like that move for them.
Looking in at this team's projected starting lineup, it reads Byron Buxton, Carlos Correa, Jorge Polanco, Max Kepler, Jose Miranda, Joey Gallo, Alex Kirilloff, Christian Vasquez, and Nick Gordon. I have little problems with this team, right? They're taking a uber flyer on Joey Gallo, but if he stinks, I mean, Michael A. Taylor off the bench can slot right in. Nick Gordon, and then moves like Kyle Farmer up to DH. I like Buxton, Correa, Polanco, Kepler to me reads really nice. All those guys could have 20 plus homers. You got to hope Buxton stays healthy. If Buxton stays healthy and he does what he does when he's healthy, I mean,
Oh yeah.
that's huge. They're projecting Joey Gallo to have 25 home runs, which if Joey Gallo hits 25 home runs, this team might go to the World Series. They might just win it all. And if they don't, they should hang a banner that says, "We're the team that took Joey Gallo in and he hit 25 home runs for." But in all seriousness, I'm a fan of the lineup.
Yeah, no, I like it too. I'm not really sure where this team went wrong last year. Just looking at the overview, like the lineup's pretty solid, and I think like if Buxton can stay healthy, I think he is. I don't think he is an MVP, but I think he'll finish top 10 up there. Correa, I think it will be nice now that he's definitely staying there for a little while. Polanco is really good. Kepler, like you said, I think these are all 25 homer guys. Uh, I don't think Gallo will hit 25, but he may be like 15. I don't know. Jose Miranda, he might be able to sneak 15. That he's solid. And then they're 7, 8, 9. They got a pretty solid 7, 8, and 9. I like this lineup a lot. It's definitely a huge step up from the two teams we just went over. So it's nice to see some players that could actually hit a baseball.
Looking in at this team's starting rotation, still kind of like it. Pablo Lopez, Sonny Gray, Joe Ryan, Tyler Mahle, and Kenta Maeda. No complaints from me there. I mean, Joe Ryan kind of broke out for them a little bit last year. If he can kind of continue what he did, that would be huge for this team. And he posted a 3.55 for them, over 150 innings. That's really solid from your three man. Adding Pablo Lopez is huge. He at one point last season, that man was completely untouchable. Solid rotation. Sonny Gray seems to have settled in, kind of found a home. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I mean, I 100% agree. Pablo Lopez bringing him in, I think that was a great move. they had a decently solid rotation, Gray, Ryan, Molly, and now Maeda. But then you throw Lopez at their one. Now they definitely got a top, I'm not gonna say top tier, but pretty high up. I would say probably top 10, top 15 rotation in the league. These guys are all solid, they're gonna eat a lot of innings. Um, they're not gonna get lit up for sick. I mean, every once in a while, obviously, yeah, they might, but they're all gonna have probably sub 4 ERAs, which is what you want. Maybe Maeda might not, but because he missed all last year, but I do really like this rotation as well. I'm not really sure where they went wrong last year.
And then onto the bullpen, and it still looks good,
Yeah, I
right?
don't.
You got guys like Jorge Lopez, who they acquired at the end of last season. Joan Duran, I'm seeing led the league in over 100-mile-per-hour pitches. Uh, Fireballer, Emilio Pagan in this bullpen. Trevor Megill. I mean, like, it's a good mix of like firepower, veterans, proven guys with some chances they're taking. I I like it.
Yeah, no, I mean they got some solid arms. Lopez, Duran, Moran. I think all three of them will have sub three. I mean, as you saw last year, Duran lit it up on fire. He had a sub two. I think it was a 1.86. But it's not even like they have guys who have six ERAs. I think most of these guys could have mid threes, low four ERAs. I like this bullpen was solid last year. Yet again, I still don't know where this team went wrong. I can't wrap my head around it. It's solid all around, I think.
This team also has Chris Paddock coming off Tommy John surgery.
Ooh, I
He's
forgot at that.
likely to return at some point this season. Could hop into the bullpen, could hop into the rotation if need be. He's shown flashes when he's healthy. Bold prediction, not only over 84 and a half wins, but the Minnesota Twins win the whole AL Central division. Yup, there you go. Bold
That
pick of the episode.
that is very bold. I mean, I'm probably gonna ride the over with you. They're only 6 games within reach, and I think they should have probably hit it last year. I don't. I think the Guardians will fall back to earth a little bit. I still think they're a solid team, really well built, but I don't think they'll beat the Guardians, but I think they'll definitely hit their over for sure.
Our next team is the Chicago White Sox. Got to be one of the most disappointing teams in baseball last year. They finished 81 and 81. And this year, their over under is set for 83 and a half wins. Looking at this team's offseason moves, they lost a bunch of players, including Johnny Cueto, Vince Velasquez, and Jose Abreu, who's been a staple of that team for a very long time now. Some of their additions include Andrew Benintendi, Mike Clevenger. They brought Elvis Andrus back, who they traded for in the middle of last season, or they signed him as a free agent last season. Um, that's about it.
Yeah, no, I mean, Benintendi, I really like bringing him in. He is really solid still. Jose Abreu, yeah, he's been like your franchise centerpiece for the past like maybe 10 years or so, but it's Andrew Vaughn's time to shine. He's been playing really well. This team, I like this team a lot. Yeah, like you said, they underperformed. I feel like they've been doing that the past few years, but I think they're ready to shine.
Looking in at this team's projected starting lineup, it reads Tim Anderson, Andrew Benintendi, Luis Robert Jr., Eloy Jimenez, Yohan Moncada, Andrew Vaughn, Yasmani Grandal, Gavin Sheets, and Elvis Andrus. Um, on paper, very nice. Very nice. A lot of big names, especially in the middle of that lineup. I mean, they're 1 through 5, 1 through 6, right? It's like all guys you know. And that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be good, but they have a lot of guys. Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I really love this lineup a lot. I mean, I think their 1 through 4 could all hit 300 with Anderson, Benintendi, Roberts, and Eloy Jimenez. They're all young, they're all sexy. I think they could all keep going up. I don't like Yohan Moncada in the middle of that lineup. I think he should be dropped a little bit. Like I previously touched on Andrew Vaughn. I think he'll be really nice. I think he should be moved up. Uh, I would definitely split time between Grandal and their backup catcher. He was really nice last year, hit 270. I think you got to give him more time because he's still, I'm not gonna say young, but younger than an aging, declining Yasmani Grandal. And then you got your typical 8-9 hitters, Gavin Sheets, Elvis Andrus, just some guys to fill it out. Not terrible, but they'll play every day for them. I really like this team a lot.
This team, I think, hinges on what I was saying, those middle of the lineup guys, those younger guys, Robert, Jimenez, Moncada, and Vaughn. If they have good seasons, that kind of fills out this team.
Yeah, one crazy thing I didn't even realize is Elvis Andrus hit 17 home runs last year. I feel like he's never really been a power guy throughout his whole career, but if they could get 15 homers from him again, they're looking really nice.
Looking at this team's projected starting pitching rotation, we have Dylan Cease, Lance Lynn, Lucas Giolito, Mike Clevenger, and Michael Kopech. I just saw a report. Giolito is down a good amount of pounds. Last season was obviously really disappointing for him after it seemed like he had figured it out for the 3 or so seasons prior. I mean, to come out and do what he did, but hopefully he can get it back. And he's still like big strikeout guy. I think he kind of makes or breaks this rotation. I'm very iffy on Clevenger. I don't know what he's gonna do. But the rest of the rotation is solid. Kopech can be better. It should be better than he is. I mean, he throws so hard,
Yeah.
but he throws his fastball goes right in a straight line, right down the middle, right to Pound Town.
Yeah, I mean, Dylan Cease, absolutely beautiful last year. I think he'll be in Cy Young contention yet again. Giolito, I think he'll come back a little bit. No way he has another 4.90 ERA year. He's got too much junk to be that bad again. Lance Lynn, you know what you're getting out of him year in, year out. Guy's just gonna eat up a bunch of innings. Solid guy. Clevenger, I agree with you. I think he's gonna take a step back again. And Kopechek, I think he'll be pretty nice. I think he'll probably improve a little bit more. Um, I like this rotation. It's looking like one of the better ones in this division that we've seen so far. So I like it a lot.
Taking a look in at the bullpen, it's average. It's an average bullpen. We have to keep an eye on Liam Hendricks, who's currently dealing with some serious medical issues. We don't know if he'll be pitching. Until then, it's likely Kendall Graveman will be their closer. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I think we'd have to see what's going on.
Yeah, I think the bullpen's got a little bit of the guys who really stink and guys who are pretty decent. Like Aaron Bummer, he should be pretty nice again. Like you said, Graveman, he'll probably slide into the closer slot. I think he'll be pretty good again. And Ronaldo Lopez, he was really solid last year. I think he'll continue to improve. But the rest of it, these are guys who have high four, like ERAs. Even Joe Kelly, he had above his 6 last year. I think he's just there to eat up some innings for them when they go down a decent amount. But hopefully Liam Hendricks can make a quick recovery for them because he was absolutely filthy the past few years.
Everything said, 83 and a half. I'm rolling under. Right? You look at this team just like by names only, right? And you think that line would be a lot higher, and it's not. And Vegas always knows, right? So on pure instinct, I'm rolling under. I think they win. I think they have the same record as like the Twins last year, 78-84.
I like where you're going with that. Vegas always knows, but I think there's too much talent on this team not to hit that 84. I mean, we just went over it. Pretty solid rotation, really solid lineup, decent bullpen. Plus, I think their biggest positive is they got rid of Tony La Russa. I He was horrible for that team, just like mentally. I feel like they all hated him and he hated them. Ruined Yerman Mercedes' career. Dude was really nice for them a few years ago, and just because he bat flipped on a or swung on a 3-0 count and franked one, he got sent down to the minors and just ruined his career. I think he would have fit really nice with this team still off the bench, but I gotta take the over. This team's too good not to.
Out with LaRussa, also goes out with Laurie Garcia's reign as the White Sox everyday two-hitter. We will always remember what a great time that was. Looking at our final team, we have the Cleveland Guardians, who finished last season at 92 and 70. Their over under win total for this season is set at 86 and a half wins. Looking at the Guardians off season, not a whole lot going on. They lost guys like Austin Hedges and Luke Maley. That's two catchers down. And Owen Miller is really the only other person of note. Looking at who they added, though, this team did not just sit down. They added guys like Mike Zunino, Josh Bell, and I'm seeing Tuki Toussaint on a minor league contract. He might break camp with them. Those, I mean, to me, those are solid moves, right? Guy like Josh Bell,
Yeah.
Mike Zunino, both were on 1 and 2 year contracts. For a team that I think overperformed last year, this is a fine offseason for them. Stay the course, see if what you got is real. And I don't think they did anything too stupid.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really like that Josh Bell signing. He's gonna add a lot of power to the middle of the lineup. I mean, they had decent power last year, but you could always use another power guy, and he's not just like a guy who will hit 20 and bat 206. He'll hit like 270. I really like that move for them.
Looking in at their projected starting lineup, it reads Stephen Kwan, Ahmed Rosario, Jose Ramirez, Josh Bell, Andres Jimenez, Josh Naylor, Oscar Gonzalez, Mike Zunino, and Miles Straw. Really strong, filled with guys. I mean, there's about like 5 or 6 guys on this team that could hit 20 home runs. No problem. It's filled with guys who kind of came out of nowhere or weren't expected to do as well as they did last season. Guys like Stephen Kwan, Andres Jimenez, Oscar Gonzalez. These are all guys that like we probably didn't expect 2 years ago to be reading them now, and yet here we are.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And not only do they have 5 or 6 guys that could hit 20 homers, I think they have 5 or 6 guys who could hit 300. You got Quan just under 300, Ahmed Rosario 283. I think he could go a little higher ever since he left New York. Stings, stings. Same with Jimenez. I really liked him, but of course they had to move on. Jose Ramirez, I don't think he'll 300, but he could be pretty close. Josh, not Josh, not Oscar Gonzalez. He was really solid last year. Like these are guys that were almost written off, but they're just balling out now.
This is a soundly constructed offensive team. Looking in at this team's starting pitching rotation, we have Shane Bieber, Tristan McKenzie, Cal Quantrill, Aaron Savale, and Zach Plesac. Really, really, really strong. I think something big to note about this rotation, everyone but Quantrill is homegrown Guardian / Indian. They're all they've been developing these guys for a long time. Bieber's a stud. McKenzie looked good last year, especially at the end. I mean, these are guys. Quantrill's great. This is a solid rotation. This is top 12, 10, something like that in baseball. It's got to be.
Yeah, no, it's really solid. You're not really gonna find a better 1-2 than Bieber and McKenzie as long as they stay like what they did, which I fully expect them to. Uh, and I think McKenzie could be even better. Like you said, at the end of last year, he was on fire. I think both of them are top 20 pitchers, only with room to improve for both of them since they're still pretty young. Cal Quantrill, solid number 3. Can't get much better than that as your 3. Plesac, he's still young, so he's got some time to develop. And the same with Savell. I think they'll both be pretty solid. Typical 4 or 5 guys, maybe a little bit better than that. But all these guys, like you said, except Quantrill, homegrown, Buttes. I love their rotation.
And it doesn't stop there. Their bullpen is really solid. Emmanuel Clase is probably one of the only guys who you can put in the discussion with like Edwin Diaz to be the best reliever in baseball. I mean, I don't. You watch him pitch. I don't know how people try hit anything he throws. He's disgusting. James Karinchak's great. Trevor Stefan's great. I mean, this bullpen's fleshed out. They don't have a single guy listed in the bullpen right now over the age of 30. I mean, they're set to like, even if the starting pitchers kind of fail them, this bullpen comes up and carries the team back up.
Yeah, no, this bullpen's absolutely filthy. They had like 5 or 6 guys under a 3 ERA, and every single one of them was under a 3.40. I don't know how you get that many good bullpen arms in one bullpen. Like it's insane how good they all are. Like you said, Clase, he may even be better than Diaz with his junk. I don't know. That's coming from a Met fan. Like Clase is that good. Karinchak, absolute beauty. Cody Morris, great guy to have. This bullpen is just so solid. They were top 5 in almost every category as far as bullpens go. They were disgusting, absolutely filth.
Everything being said, I'm taking the over 86.5, but as I said before, I don't think they win the division. So I'm thinking like high 80s with the Twins winning division with like 90, 91, 92.
Yeah, I'm also taking the over here. Yeah, they were a 92 win team last year. I think they'll fall back a little bit, maybe like 89, 88, maybe 91 games, somewhere in that range. I think they'll for sure hit their over. This team's beautiful. I still think they take the division though.
And that wraps up our third episode of our MLB season outlook. Tune in next week when we take on the NL Central.